I want to welcome you to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. What's up, peoples? How you doing? It is a great day, and I'm so very excited to be here. In the mornings, I have my live, and this morning in particular, November, and I believe it was, the 21st at 8 a.m., I did a video about real estate, being, truthful to yourself about your budget, getting help and assistance. I mean, I did the 3 points of it, and it's just so cool to have someone here that buys houses as is. So let's just say that you are in a bind or you really just want to get out the property. It has been just a money pit from day one and you just want out. These are the people that you go to. I want to thank Alex for being on the show. Thank you so much for coming on the show with me today. And how do you pronounce your last name?
Capizolo.
I thought so, but I didn't want to do it.
No
Is that
worries.
Italian?
That's Italian. Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it. Yeah. Yeah. So tell us about yourself.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me on. Really appreciate it, Yaya. Been in real estate for 8 years, on and off. I'd say full time has been 4 years, and started an investment company with my childhood best friend. We've known each other since we were 5 years old. Went to high school together, college together, like true bromance kind of story, which is pretty sweet. So we got lucky in terms of that. But we were both just interested in the whole financial freedom kind of thought process. And that's kind of what they sell you on in real estate is, oh, get some rental properties, get some passive income, retire on an island. Life is great. So that, sparked our interest, of course, especially when we were younger. But we both worked W-2 jobs, fell into real estate at different points, but then talked about it with each other and said, why don't we give this a shot together? Fast forward, we built our company over the past couple of years, tried all sorts of different marketing channels to generate leads, talk to people, see how we can help. And then as you spoke about before, we buy a lot of properties that are in crazy conditions, situations, all this and that. So it keeps every day pretty different and interesting. And right now our business looks like we do a lot of house flipping. So we'll buy a place, remodel it, resell it, or we'll keep it as a rental property.
I mean, I can't imagine. I'm trying to think of how easy or how hard it is to actually do this. And do you need a real estate license or can you jump in? I mean, there are just so many different avenues nowadays, but let's go the realistic way. Let's go the old traditional way. You get your real estate license, you get everything going. How hard was it for you to figure out which direction you wanted to go in? And then how hard was it to start?
We just started talking to a lot of people, and they say in most industries, when you're getting going and trying to get entrenched into a thing, networking is a great place to start. They say that, but it's true for sure, because you talk to people who are doing things that you think you want to do, and then as you talk to other people, you maybe realize, oh, I actually want to do that instead. Different subversions of things within an umbrella of a space. But that's actually how me and my partner both got started. He got his license and he was kind of doing his own thing in Philly, and I was in California on the other coast, also doing my own thing. I got my license and I was trying that, and then we were working part-time, I guess, together, trying to also grow this investing business, and that's kind of what ended up doing the best out of everything we were both trying.
I see it and I understand the concept. But financially speaking, how was that for you guys to get that ball on the roll? Because I mean, don't you have to have some kind of finances to get started?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's scary. And there's so many different ways to do it. We tried both. And when I say what are we trying, it's like how do you get started? So say you're choosing to be a realtor, right? You need to start talking to people to sell your realtor services, whether it's helping them buy or helping them sell. So there's free ways to do that. There's expensive ways to do that. So we tried a little bit of both. An expensive way, just as an example, is direct mail. So we tried to reach people who wanted to sell their houses. So we did the whole make a postcard, send out 3,000, send it out, pray, see what happens. And that can work, and it did. But at least for us, sometimes we would spend $3,000 and not get any calls back. And that was really hard to swallow, especially when we first started out. So there's that side of it. And then there's also a few different free ways, or really inexpensive ways to start talking to people about your services. Door knocking is one. Working your inner circle is another one. Just letting people know, your friends and family. If you want to do postcards and mail things out, you can handwrite letters. That's what we did to start as well. I still have to pay for the stamp, but at least you don't pay for the postcard. So there's a different ways you can kind of mix and match things. But yeah, it's definitely a scary thing to jump in, especially if you're shelling out a couple grand when you don't really have it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know. I know. Oh gosh. So the business now, tell me about that. Tell me about the business model that you guys are into now, because, I know it's a gradual progression between, we're going to start here and then point A looks nothing like point B. I mean, I'm just going to say it. I mean, you think you know what you're doing, but you really don't. So, being that you are in this business model now of purchasing homes, do you do foreseeing? I mean, what is the process? Maybe someone wants to sell their home as is, and just get out from under.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good segue because we've tried almost every marketing channel there is, except for TV and radio. Those are both crazy expensive, probably for most industries. Real estate for sure it is. But we've done cold calling, door knocking, mailers, texting, a lot of outbound reaching out to people, which pissed a lot of people off, to be frank, I think, because not everyone wants the random text from a
No.
scary 888 number that they've never heard of before, especially when they didn't ask for it. So we did that, paid the bills kind of, and then we were just trying to think of a better way that we could serve people and also just try and grow our business in a way that felt good and felt aligned to us. And me and my partner, we're not super salesy. We're not like in your face. We're not going to we don't do any of those crazy tactics. We're really just human to human. If we can come up with a win-win situation, that's really our goal every time, is just to make it easy. But right now, people find us online, which is amazing. We'll see how long that lasts with like ChatGPT and all this disruption happening in the technology world. But right now, people find us on Google, honestly, just Googling their problems. So it's like, if they, like you're saying, the as is thing, for example, like if someone has a huge water leak in their house, or like fire damage, like a unique kind of niche issue with their house where it doesn't even maybe make sense to take it and put it online and market it, with a realtor. We're just here as investors, and those are honestly projects we like taking on too, are ones that need a lot of work. So we try to fill those voids online when people are looking for answers and looking for help for the complicated stuff. That's where we try to come in.
I
Don't
know there's
forget to follow us on YouTube and Instagram. Thank you for watching.
I know there's a question that a lot of people have asked me in the past, and I'm kind of going to pass it on to you. A person owes $150,000 on their home. Their house goes up in flames, or they have something going wrong with it. They can't pay it anymore. It doesn't feasibly make sense to do it because it's going to cost more than it's worth. Do you go in with the full price of 150? Do you pay off what they owe so that they don't owe anymore, or will they still owe after the fact?
Yeah, ones like that can be tough. It's definitely situational. We always hope that if that does happen, there was some insurance involved, that the person hopefully had, because then they'll ideally get some kind of, reimbursement from the insurance after filing a claim, after whatever happened, the water damage, fire damage, snow damage, whatever damage, tornado damage. But it's always helpful. If they didn't have insurance, then it is sometimes tough, and we can't we can't really afford to pay what it was once worth, because if we do that, it might be too far gone and we might actually lose money on the project. So it really depends. It's a lot more workable when there's insurance involved, but they're tricky ones. We like to try and help as much as we can, though, where it's possible.
I hear you. I hear you. It is something to be in this business and to be in that situation at the same time. So, both of you guys are working together, the seller and you as the buyer. But are you sometimes the seller?
Sometimes, yeah.
What is that like for you?
Yeah, it's interesting. We usually don't sell ones. Let me take that back. Yeah, we the ones that we sell are more ones that we've like fixed up fully. So those are ones that we'll put on the market, and oftentimes they're fully done, they're turnkey. So it's usually families that are looking to buy those and move in with their dog and their kids and their parakeet and all that. So those are usually decent to go through, minus if someone's coming in with an FHA loan. If any of your listeners are familiar with those, it's a loan, but it adds a couple of extra layers that you have to meet for the FHA to approve their loan for them to buy the place from you. So it can take a couple more weeks to get done. But if it's a quality house and quality product, we can usually find someone that it makes sense for them as a home and it makes sense for us to sell.
Mhm. Oh, wow. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I do have lots of questions. I absolutely love it. When you're selling a home or buying a home or whatever the case may be, and you get into that whole transaction, what do you advise the buyer to actually do? I mean, or the seller? I mean, on any end, should they have representation? Should they understand what they're getting themselves into? And is it better to buy from you as a person that is individual that's maybe flipping homes in retrospect to like a regular person, like going through another company, like a traditional real estate company?
Yeah, I'd say there's not really a right way to do it. If someone feels comfortable working with a realtor and likes it that way, do it. If someone prefers to do it on their own and save money, that's great too. I've seen people do in the middle where they don't work with a realtor, but they hire like a title company to handle the paperwork, or they hire an attorney just to do most of the paperwork. That's a way to do it as well. So I'd say no one right way, and it really just depends on what people are comfortable with, how much time they have, because it's definitely time consuming. So a lot of times it does make way more sense to bring in a realtor or two or three, however many it takes. So I'd say it's situational for sure.
Awesome, awesome. And the real estate market today, everything's expensive. I'm sorry. I mean,
Mhm.
the insurance, the interest, the inflation, the this, and that, and the other. What do you suggest people do at this moment in time where real estate is a little expensive?
It's a great question. I would say learn your market, and learn where you want to buy. If you're, say, a family and you're just looking to move somewhere, it's it's a little more forgiving. If you're in a place for 30 years, there's a good chance property will be worth more now or then in 30 years than it is now. So it's a little more forgiving. But if you're in the space as a real estate professional or looking for a more short-term thing, I would say really get to know your market, because a lot of times, especially in a place like Philly, which is our main market, it is block by block. So you can know a zip code, you can know a neighborhood, you can know everything that's going on. The guy who sells bagels down the street, whatever's in and out. But it really can be block by block, where one block is fantastic and it's really worth a long-term investment, and the next one over is a little tough, and it's just not really. It doesn't make sense for a lot of directions you could go with the house. So I would just say get to know it all. Don't be afraid to be one of the front runners in a neighborhood. That's what we did in Philly. We invested in places like Brewery Town, Strawberry Mansion, which were definitely tougher 10 years ago. And now they're kind of coming along, and have a more of a sense of community. And we're pretty happy with those now. So those will probably be ones that we'll hang on to for a while. So I'd say don't be afraid to try different areas, get to know your place. And also just, again, goes back to alignment, right? Whatever you are doing, align it with your current self, what you currently need in life, and then also try and look forward and also align it with some of that future stuff that you're looking for.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much, Alex, for being on the show. I appreciate it. How can people reach you though?
Thanks for having me on. This is fun. If you want to reach me, first place to go to is sdhouseguys.com. So it's for San Diego, sdhouseguys.com. That's our California, San Diego, West Coast stuff. And then in Philly, tri-state area, Pennsylvania, it can be found at brotherlyloveproperties.com.
So we're going to put that in the description box so that people can actually get that. You know, I absolutely love what you're doing. I know it's been hard, and I know it's been an uphill battle sometimes to get through all the complications and everything. But what kind of suggestions do you have or advice do you have for people who may want to be in your line of work?
If someone's just getting into it or thinking about getting into any kind of real estate, I would say number one, try to, as clearly as you can, define what that is. Because as we've already spoken about on this podcast, there's so many different things you can do within real estate. There's also lending, there's title, there's insurance. There's so many different things. So figure out what that is, and then figure out even more what you want to do within that. Once you do that, it goes back to networking too. So try and find someone else in your market who's doing exactly what you want to do or is where you want to be. Hit them up. Don't be afraid to. Try to add value first. So try to give before you take. See what they need. See what, just get to know them on a human level. See if you can help them out in any way. What do they need at this moment in their business, in their life? And if you can fill any of those gaps and add value to them, then see if they'd be open to sitting down for coffee with you at a different point or whenever, and just teaching you a few things. And those shortcuts that they can give you are going to save you so much time and so much money, and really get you heading in a good direction for where you want to be.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to dare to be different, but don't forget to visit the websites if you're in the market, even if you're in the market to sell or purchase. Contact Alex, and I'm sure that they can help you. I want to thank you again so much for tuning in. Don't forget to dare to be different. And until next time, guys, bye.